All right, let's dive into something really important today, firearm safety.
Yeah.
And specifically, we're going to focus on that golden rule,
Right.
the one that underpins everything else.
Yeah.
Always treating a firearm as if it's loaded.
That's it. That's the one. And this deep dive is going to take us beyond just knowing the rule, but really understanding why it's so vital and how to put it into practice.
Yeah.
We're working with, professional firearms training materials here. So consider this your shortcut to expert knowledge.
I like it. Shortcut to expert knowledge. And you know what? Even if you never plan to own a gun, stick with us.
Absolutely.
This is valuable information just for general safety awareness, right?
You never know when this might come in handy.
Exactly.
You really don't.
Okay, so always treat a firearm as if it's loaded.
Right.
I get the basic idea.
Yeah.
But what does that actually look like in practice?
It's more than just a saying. It's a whole mental shift. Imagine you walk into a room.
Okay.
There's a firearm on the table.
Oh, yeah.
Your heart might skip a beat, right?
Probably.
So take that feeling, that instant caution, and apply it every single time you're around a firearm.
Okay.
Even if you think it's unloaded.
So even if someone tells me, don't worry, it's not loaded, I still act as if it is.
Exactly. Because think about, what if they're wrong?
Right.
What if there was a miscommunication? This rule removes all doubt. It forces you to be cautious, regardless of what you've been told or what you believe.
So it's about eliminating complacency.
Exactly.
Okay, getting rid of that.
Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah.
It's almost like rewiring your brain to assume the worst case scenario. So you're always prepared.
That's a great way to think about it.
Okay.
It's like defensive driving. You always assume other drivers might make mistakes.
Right.
So you're constantly alert and prepared to react. Same principle applies here.
Okay, so I'm starting to get it. Assuming I've got that loaded mindset, what are the actual physical steps to check if a firearm is actually loaded? So there's a specific routine, a sort of ritual that, is drilled into every firearms trainee.
Oh, yeah.
It becomes second nature with practice.
All right, walk me through it. What's the first thing?
So before you even touch the firearm, as you're approaching it, you're mentally preparing.
Okay.
You're reminding yourself, this could be loaded.
Visualize it.
Visualize that bullet in the chamber.
Right.
So you're already on high alert mentally.
So what's next? Do I just pick it up?
Not yet. First, you got to perform a visual check.
Okay.
Make sure the firearm's resting securely. Then you tilt it slightly, just enough to get a clear view of the chamber.
Okay, so I'm peering inside.
Yep.
Looking for a bullet.
You got it.
And what if it looks empty?
You never stop there.
Oh, okay.
You always go one step further with a physical check.
Okay.
Now, depending on the type of firearm, if it's safe and appropriate, you'll gently place your pinky finger into the chamber to confirm it's empty.
So it's like a double check, seeing and feeling, to be absolutely certain.
Because your eyes can deceive you, lighting can be tricky.
Right.
This physical check is about eliminating any doubt.
Okay, so I'm starting to understand the seriousness of this. It's not just a quick glance. It's a very deliberate process.
It has to be.
Yeah.
We're operating under the assumption that it could be loaded, remember?
Right. It's all starting to click now. You've really emphasized that loaded mindset.
Right.
The constant awareness, and then this two-step verification process.
Right.
Visual and physical.
And with practice, this entire routine becomes so ingrained, you do it without even thinking.
Like putting on your seatbelt.
Exactly.
Automatic.
Yeah. Just like that.
Okay, that makes sense. So how do people practice this? Are there drills or exercises?
Absolutely. That's where the real learning happens.
Okay.
And you know what? We should probably dive into that in more detail in the next part.
I'm all ears.
It's pretty fascinating stuff.
Let's do it.
All right, so practice drills.
Yeah, let's talk drills.
These are key to turning that loaded mindset and verification routine into something you just do automatically.
Okay, do they actually use real firearms in these drills?
They can, but not in the way you might think.
Okay.
One of the most effective exercises is called the loaded mindset simulation.
Okay.
And in this drill, you encounter various firearms in unknown states.
Right.
Some might be loaded, some unloaded, but none of them will have live ammunition.
So it's a safe way to practice reacting to a real-world scenario where you just encounter a gun, you have no idea if it's loaded or not.
Picture this. You walk into a room, there's a pistol on a shelf.
Heart starts pounding.
Right. But you remember your training.
Yeah.
You approach cautiously, visually inspect the chamber, perform that physical check, all while maintaining that loaded mindset.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That sounds intense, but I can see how it would really hammer home that automatic response.
Right.
No matter what the situation.
Exactly. And there are other drills that help reinforce this.
What else? What else is out there?
Another crucial one is the firearm familiarization drill. And this one involves handling different types of firearms, like semi-automatics, revolvers, and practicing that loaded check on each one. Because the techniques can vary a little depending on the type of firearm.
It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Learning to drive different types of cars.
Exactly.
Yeah, they all have their own quirks.
Precisely. And just like with driving, becoming familiar with those different firearms builds confidence and reinforces that every firearm demands that same level of respect and caution.
This is all so insightful, but no, not everyone listening is a gun owner.
Right.
So why is this rule so crucial even if you don't personally own a firearm?
That's a great point. You see, this rule is about broader safety awareness.
Okay.
Imagine you're at a friend's house and you unexpectedly come across a firearm.
Yeah.
In a drawer or something.
Happens.
Right. You might even be in a situation where someone is threatening you with a firearm.
Yeah, it's not hard to imagine scenarios where someone might encounter a firearm.
Exactly.
Unexpectedly.
In those moments, knowing how to assess the situation, react safely, that's critical.
Yeah.
And treating any firearm as if it's loaded is the safest default behavior.
It could save your life.
Absolutely.
Or the lives of others.
It really could.
So it's like having a universal safety protocol.
Yeah.
That helps you navigate any situation.
It does.
Involving a firearm.
It empowers you to make safe choices.
Regardless of your experience.
Exactly.
Or ownership.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Okay, so let's recap what we've learned so far.
Okay.
This treat the firearm as if it's loaded rule. It sounds like it's more than just a rule.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's the foundation of all other safety practices.
Right.
It's about cultivating a mindset, a set of reflexes, and a deep respect for the potential power of firearms.
And it's something that everyone should understand.
Absolutely.
Whether they own a firearm or not.
It's about personal safety, safety of those around you, and contributing to a culture of responsible firearm handling.
Now, I want to leave you with a thought-provoking question.
Okay.
Imagine you encounter a firearm unexpectedly. How would this rule influence your actions and mindset to ensure everyone's safety?
It's a powerful scenario to visualize.
Yeah.
If you were in that situation, would you freeze? Would you panic? Or would you be able to calmly assess the situation, remembering everything we've discussed today?
Take a moment and really picture yourself in that situation.
Yeah.
How would you react? It's a question worth pondering.
It is, because that moment of truth is where the real value of this rule shines through.
This has been such an eye-opening deep dive so far.
Glad to hear it.
A huge thank you to you for sharing your expertise and breaking down this crucial firearm safety rule so thoroughly.
It's been my pleasure.
And to our listener, thank you for joining us. We encourage you to seek further knowledge about firearm safety if you're interested. Now let's move on to part 3. Where we'll dive into some more specific techniques and real-world applications.
Looking forward to it.
Stay tuned. Okay, we're back, ready to wrap up this deep dive into firearm safety.
Yeah, in this final section, they kind of shift gears a bit.
Okay.
It goes beyond just explaining the rules, it focuses more on putting it all into practice.
I like it, yeah.
Real-world application,
right.
Building that muscle memory, that's what it's all about.
Okay, so how do they actually bridge that gap between theory and practice?
One way is through scenario-based exercises.
Oh.
They put learners through these simulated situations where they have to react quickly and safely.
So what kind of scenarios? Give me an example.
Okay, imagine you're at the range practicing your shooting.
Okay, I'm there.
And suddenly you hear someone shout, "Ceasefire, what do you do?"
Well, I know from our earlier discussion, ceasefire means stop shooting immediately.
Right.
So I would put my firearm down, point the muzzle in a safe direction, and wait for further instructions.
That's it. And these scenarios are designed to really test your reaction time.
Right.
And your ability to apply what you've learned under pressure.
It's one thing to know the rules. It's another thing to be able to execute them.
Yeah, totally.
In a high-stress situation.
That's right. And they'll simulate things like misfires.
Oh, wow.
Sudden changes in targets.
Yeah.
Unexpected noises. All designed to,
challenge you.
Challenge your focus
right.
and your commitment to safety.
It's like a flight simulator for firearm handling.
Exactly. You get to practice
yeah.
those emergency procedures.
In a safe environment.
In a safe environment. That's the key.
Before you're actually facing them.
Right.
For real.
Yeah. Building that confidence and competence so that if you're ever in a real-life situation,
right.
those protocols are just second nature.
So what happens after these simulations? Do they just throw you out into the world and say good luck?
Not quite. They actually wrap up the training with a Q&A and reflection session. Gives learners a chance to ask any lingering questions,
Right.
process their experiences, and really solidify that understanding.
That's a crucial step. Like debriefing after a mission.
It is. It helps connect the dots,
Yeah.
reinforce those key takeaways, and make sure they walk away feeling empowered and confident
That's great.
about their ability to handle firearms safely.
This has been such an eye-opening journey.
Yeah.
We've explored that loaded mindset, the steps for verifying if a firearm is loaded, the drills, the scenarios.
It's a lot, right?
Yeah, it really highlights that firearm safety isn't just about memorizing rules. It's about understanding the why behind them,
Exactly.
integrating them into your mindset,
Yeah.
and practicing until they become automatic.
Yeah, it's it.
Couldn't agree more.
Good.
And to our listeners, we hope this deep dive has given you a new perspective on firearm safety.
Absolutely. Knowledge is power.
Yeah,
And in this case, knowledge can save lives.
well said. If you're interested in learning more, we encourage you to seek out reputable training resources and continue your education.
Yeah, great advice.
Until next time, stay safe and stay curious.